Hello, friends. I am Chevee. Welcome to my shed. How are you today? How's life in your world? How's things where you are? I hope it's fantastic. Everything here is great. I hope you had a good weekend. I had a great weekend. This project is just going to have to be in the way, and I'm going to have to deal with that. As you all know, this is a working shop. This isn't a set. How cool would that have been if we had grown this channel to the point that I had a set just to do the show? That'd have been crazy. I did read a book last week. In fact, I read two. So we're going to review one today and one tomorrow. I thought about putting them together because they're in the same series, but we're not. Today we're talking about Glass Predator from Craig Schaefer. This is the third book in the Harmony Black series. I very much enjoyed the first two books in this series, and I did not enjoy this book nearly as much. I enjoyed it. It was okay. But to bring you up to speed, if you haven't read any of the Harmony Black stuff, she is a special agent in the FBI who's recruited into a black ops program where she hunts literal demons. In the universe of Craig Schaefer, there's the Faust series and some other series. Demons are a very real thing. And they come into our world and conduct business and do all kinds of stuff. And so she is an FBI agent that's tasked with taking some of these down. In the first couple of books, we get it's alluded to that there is some sort of higher, not purpose. There's a bigger story, and in this book, that really comes to light. That story takes the forefront to kind of not the backstory, but the story of the Glass Predator, because Glass Predator directly leads to the bigger story. And while I enjoyed the book, the reason I didn't like it is because it's just so much browbeating. It's just like, can I say this without spoilers? The first two books are very pulpy, very fun, very funny, just kind of moving through a story, and you get some hints at this background story. By this book, the background story is taking focus, and now we're just going from like terrible situation to terrible situation to terrible situation. And this is, I guess this is like basically the end of Act 2 for the overarching story, which means the character gets beat down and beat down and beat down and beat down. And it just becomes tiring. In addition, the first two books, I felt like, yeah, there's some things you kind of have to ignore. I mean, these books were written in the before 4 times when maybe technology isn't where it's at today, but it's close. They have phones, they have tracking abilities, they have all the NSA spying, all that sort of stuff. But there's some concessions you have to make as a person of the world to say, all right, these people are getting away with things they shouldn't get away with, or they're doing things that aren't really the way you do things. Like, there's a lot of that in this book. There's a lot of like kind of hand wavy, just accept it and move on with your life, and that's okay. And I expect some of that in pulp type fiction. I expect there to be moments when I go, ugh. But in this book in particular, it's really bad. It's really, really bad. So from here on out, we're going to talk about spoilers because it's time. If you want to read the book and you don't want to hear about it, go somewhere else. So the thing about it is the book goes off the rails when we start getting into the Glass Predator stuff. We start getting into the Hounds of the Courts coming after Harmony and the team. And then Harmony and Jessica just start like, they'll have these scenes where they go into a room and they're like total, like before I kill you, Mr. Bond moments, where they just go in and they just tell the whole, oh, we know who you are and where you come from and blah, 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 blah. And then, you know, in the next scene, that place is now vacant because they went and like ran their mouths, and it just in these really weird out of character ways. Like, they don't do that in the rest of the books. And I can tell you they don't do it book 4 because I've read book 4. They don't just go but it was a situation where I felt like as a reader, we're just pushing the story along, and so we just have to accept the fact that he's going to hit the gas pedal, and these characters are going to do some really wild things that are completely moronic, just the stupidest things they've ever done, just to advance the story. And that's the part that just feels kind of like, you know? Book 1 and 2, I was hoping for a series that with some longevity, that just had cool characters doing cool missions, and maybe there's this thing going on in the background. By the end of this book, it was like, okay, so it's obvious, and if you know the name of the next book, then you know what the next book is about. It's obvious that this main story is going to take the stage, and we're not going to get characters hunting demons in cool ways. It's going to turn into a book about the team and their future. And so it just felt not great. I came here for the first 2 books promised me a series about characters hunting demons in cool ways, and by book 3 it's turned into this just weird conspiracy thing. I don't know. The mystery, or not the mystery, I guess there's no mystery. The thing that's resolved, the cold spectrum stuff, is just kind of dumb. Like it's not enough to carry this weight that it seems like is being put on it. It's not that big of a deal. It's kind of like, okay, like, does it matter? And I can tell you, reading ahead into book 4, no, it doesn't at all. It's just a really dumb, like, it was set up to be this huge thing, and it's really not. It's not a huge thing at all. But I can tell you, so I rated this like a 3. I felt like it was just kind of middle ground, just, I don't know. It takes these characters in a completely different direction, and it takes the story in a different direction, and it doesn't really do much to advance anybody in particular. All it really does is beat them down, but not in a cool way, not in an Empire Strikes Back kind of way. Just in a, like, they leave one situation, they walk into a coffee shop, and suddenly there's bullets everywhere. It's like that suddenly ogres moment. Suddenly there's ogres. Deal with it. And every chapter is that. It's just suddenly there's a new ogre, and you got to fight it. Good luck. And by the end of the book, Harmony's addicted to succubus venom. I don't know what it's. I don't know. I didn't like it. Not much at all. In fact, I probably should give it a lower rating than a 3, but I'm going to leave it there because there's a lot worse books out there. But I can tell you, I'm glad I read it, and I'm glad I continued, because book 4, I really liked it, and we'll talk about that tomorrow. So overall, it's kind of a necessary evil in this series. I can tell you that after book 4, the publisher dropped the series, and so maybe that was in the wind, and so Chris decided to just wrap this thing up and just have this book where we just fast forward, just hit the gas pedal and just blow through a bunch of stuff. Maybe that's what happened. I don't know. That's kind of what it feels like. This book, though, just, yeah. There you go. That's my review of Glass Predator from Chris Schaefer. Have you read it? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thank you for being here as always. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, being amazing friends and wonderful people. I really appreciate you. And I'll see you again tomorrow. Today's word you should know to sound smart, the last of the T's, is tyro. It is a noun meaning a beginner or novice. Though a tyro, Madeline quickly mastered cross-country skiing during her jaunt to Switzerland. Tyro, T-Y-R-O. That's a fun word. Never heard it before. I've heard lots of different versions for novices and beginners, but I'll have to use it sometime.